Another great tool that can be used along with Google Classroom in your classroom is going to be Google Calendar. Now, many people forget about Google Calendar, but the great thing about this is that anytime you put in an assignment, if you give it a due date with a time that it's due, it's going to put that assignment in on your calendar. And so just like you see here that I have some events already populated on my calendar, the same thing will happen with Google Classroom. Now what I want to show you today is how to walk the students through the steps of setting up their own Google Calendar and the notifications that they can get with that. So just like we would go into our Waffle to access the calendar, the students can do the same. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the settings menu, which is this little gear here up at the top. From here, we're going to go to settings. And then this takes us to our main settings page. From here, we can begin to customize our Google Calendar just a little bit. And so you notice you can set time zone, you can set how your events are going to show up, so default of 60 minutes or an hour when you put an event onto your calendar. You can receive desktop notifications if you wish, how your calendar looks, what day of the week that your calendar is going to start on. And then from here, we can make our way down, see enabling working hours, and so on. But this is the part that I really want to show you is how to mobile setup. This is at the very, very bottom of the settings page. And from here, kind of like the Remind app does, what you'll do is you go in and you type in your cell phone number, whatever that number might be. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to click Send Verification Code. And Google is going to send to that number that you put in a verification code. And with that, what it's doing is it's tying your Google Calendar to your cell phone. So that anytime you have an event come up on your calendar, it will alert you. Google sends two forms out to where you can either choose to get email notifications or what it calls SMS, or I just think of it as text message notifications. And so after you have gotten the verification code and put it in, then you're going to come back to your main calendar screen. From here, you'll notice you have all the calendars that you are tied to over here on your left-hand column. This is where you can now identify whether or not you get notifications about different events. So like one calendar, secondary coaches calendar that I have right here, when I click on those three dots off to the side, I'm going to go to settings. And then from there, I'm going to add event notifications. So I'm going to add notifications. And this is where I determine whether or not I want email notifications or text message notifications. So anytime the secondary coach calendar sends out an event or posts something in the calendar, it's going to give me a notification in one of those two ways. Now you can set up multiple to where if I want a text message and an email to go out to me, I can do that. Or if I want to send multiple text messages, let's say one that is not just minutes, but you can do days or weeks in advance, and one that is 1 day in advance. So that it sends me a reminder from 24 hours and 48 hours before that event starts. I'm going to get reminders and text message reminders from my Google Calendar. So think of the possibilities that if you have your students sign up for text message notifications, and then when you post an assignment on Google Classroom, you can then have them set up for your classroom calendar when they're going to get event notifications. So anytime that a notification or an event or an assignment goes in on the Google Classroom calendar for your classroom, students will be receiving those updates, both through email if they set it up that way, and through Text messaging. So this would be a great way for not only parents but students as well to stay up to date with assignments and be reminded. And this prevents you from having to go in and actually send out remind messages because it's doing it automatically with the Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those just for now. And what we'll see is that anytime I go in to my Google Classroom, and if I create an assignment, and I put in a due date, let's just call this a practice assignment. So I'm going to put in a due date and time. So my due date's going to be, let's see, Thursday, and the time, let's just say 8 p.m. I think most people would probably just choose midnight to make it an easy turn-in time, but for purposes of this, we'll see how it shows up. So, and then we'll just go ahead and attach a random assignment. Here we go. We'll use this one over in the project playlist. Okay, and we'll make a copy. There we go. And click Assign. And it's taking a minute, but what it's going to do is we're going to see that this assignment, it is due October 4th at 8 p.m. And as we go to the Google Calendar, we're going to see that we're adding it in. And so Google 4th at 8 p.m., notice there's my assignment. And this is how it's going to come up to the students. So not only are they getting the message that they have an assignment that's been assigned, not only are they getting the reminders of the date and time through the Google Classroom page, they can also get that on their calendar, which can then be linked up to their cell phones or their email addresses. So they're getting that constant reminder of when those are due. So with this, hopefully you can see how some of these might be utilized in your class to help your students make sure that they're getting their assignments and their work turned in on time.